Hello, everyone. This is episode number 100. No, not 100. Sorry, 215 of At Odds with the Unbreakable Spirit.
And the Executioner, Daniel Travers.
I'm Matthew Smith, aka the Unbreakable Spirit. I'm gonna leave that in so I don't have to delete the intro. Let's run through the topics. Use your faces. Last week was the Elimination Chamber. This is a crossover episode, hence the pop culture merch and the wrestling merch.
Same here. Pop culture and wrestling.
Yeah. So why don't we tell you the topics?
Number 1.
Our concern over the Green Lantern TV show trailer.
Number 2.
The results of the Elimination Chamber 2026. But you're probably wondering, wait, isn't it Jenkins Day this Sunday or Saturday?
Yes.
There are only like 2 matches confirmed, so we thought, what's the point?
Okay, we're like, okay, thank you everyone. Here are the 2 matches. Goodbye.
Here's who we think we're gonna win. See you next week with the results. That would be longer than the actual prediction.
Yeah, no, we're not doing that. Anyway.
Yeah, you saw how well us doing something simple went last time, but terrible for audio.
Yeah. So, your thoughts on the Green Lantern trailer from what you have seen?
I'm worried.
And why is that?
It doesn't look good.
Care to explain?
Well, for one, the fact that Jon Stewart, the Green Lantern, has not worn the ring yet he's being trained to be a Green Lantern?
Hmm?
Yeah, exactly.
Okay, my concern is, and I did some digging, is I know in the past the Green Lantern's suit was an original suit, which is weird because I had to do some digging on that. And this is also something I had to do some digging on, that apparently in like the 90s or something, Guy Gardner wasn't always human. He apparently in the comics was a human alien hybrid in the comics, apparently.
Yeah, I'll have to read that thing you sent me from Gemini later.
Yeah. Which I thought was interesting because it makes me honestly question why. Okay, because my honest concern is, why is the Green Lantern suit in a closet instead of being made from a ring? That's weird.
Yeah, but maybe there was a time where the suit was a physical suit.
Yeah, but okay, my biggest concern is, and look, I don't mind them doing a detective story, but it's just, can someone explain to me how Jordan, like, because look, I'll read the comics, I'll do the research, but can someone explain to me how Jordan was able to fly without the ring, without, like, I know, like, he was probably wearing the ring, but it's like, where's the suit? Like, because the suit runs on willpower, so I'm confused.
Can I just say the suit in general looks way better than the one Ryan Reynolds has CGI'd onto his body.
So I've heard people say that looks better.
I disagree. I think the one in Lanterns looks better. But that's just my 2 cents.
Yeah, anyway, what makes me concerned is that, I'm gonna be honest, there's a couple things is that, like, this seems to be a more grounded and realistic.
I just wish we would know what time period the show's happening in.
Yeah, is this before Superman? Or is this post-Superman?
My gut says before, due to the mention of no Superman and no mention of Guy Gardner. Even though you have told me Guy Gardner is showing up in the series.
Yes, because you can't do a Green Lantern show and not have the 3 Green Lanterns.
Even though there are like, what, 7 human ones now in the comics?
Yeah, look, what makes me honestly concerned is, I just hope that this show doesn't just rely too much on Earth, because we know, and I hope this show actually gives us some diatext on the Green Lantern Corps, because I hope this show just doesn't take place on Earth, because they are space cops after all, not Earth cops.
Yeah, from what we have seen, it looks like it's only gonna be on Earth.
Yeah,
Unless that
what?
western town was on another planet with humanoid life forms.
Yeah, what are your other concerns on this show from what you saw in the trailer?
Like, don't get me wrong, I'm fine if it's like a buddy cop detective story thing. But I would like to know a little bit more of the plot from the trailer.
Yeah, yeah,
Now,
I
I
agree.
want to take a quick minute and clarify to people. We are going to watch the pilot of the
Yes,
show. That does not mean we're going to watch the entire series.
yes. But what makes
He
me
might,
a bit,
but I might not. I don't know.
I don't know yet. What makes me honestly a big concern is that we don't know, like, we, the trailer didn't really give us much on, like, a take on we don't really know, like, hey, how long has Hal Jordan been a lantern? Why is Jon Stewart in training if he's already a lantern?
Yeah, the, and that's the part that bugs me. He is in training to be a Green Lantern, but that's
How?
not how the Green Lantern Corps works. The ring chooses the wearer. The wearer does not choose the ring.
Yeah.
But yeah, let's just continue for a few more minutes. That was way too short.
Yeah, what my final add on to my thoughts is that that trailer, like, we don't really, like, that trailer didn't really give me like a good, like, I
It
don't
was a
mind that.
nothing burger.
What do you mean?
It didn't give us anything.
Yeah, not to mention it didn't really, we didn't really see any sort of constructs at all.
Yeah, the only construct that we've seen in this current DCU is Guy Gardner shooting up middle fingers from the ground.
Or giant mini gloves.
Yeah.
Because look, don't get me wrong. If Guy Gardner is the kind of person in this new DC universe that actually takes his job as a cop, a space cop, seriously, like he's not the kind of guy like in the new 52 animated movies that will just show up in Gotham uninvited and screw up an entire Batman operation. I'm okay
Yeah,
with
you're
that.
referencing Throne of Atlantis, right?
He's like, no, Hal, I didn't need them caught. I need them fucking
I didn't need
scared,
them
you dummy.
captured, I needed them scared.
Odd. Like, okay, and the big question that this show, like, is this show gonna show what Oa looks like? Are we gonna get more than just those 3 Green Lanterns? Because I know, like, Atrocitus is involved in this show. I know that, Sinestro, because you can't do a Lantern Co. without Atrocitus or Sinestro. Like, are those guys gonna look human? Like, what do they look like?
Well, okay, to be fair, Sinestro does look humanoid, just with, pink or purple skin, depending on the artist's color palette.
True, but my big concern is for a show that is supposed to focus, and I've had a chance to think about this, but my big concern is for a show that is focused on, there's supposed to be a show about space cops. It didn't really seem like a space cop show.
I concur. And
Like,
I just want
that's
to go back to the whole like Jon Stewart thing. He already has
yes.
a ring. Why is he not wearing it until he's ready, as Hal Jordan says? How are you supposed to create hard light constructs using a ring if you're not wearing the ring?
Okay, also, like, if because also, to me, with this show, look, I'm not prejudging this show, but it's just like we got a while till the show release.
Yeah.
But
We'll
the
probably
big
get more
question,
trailers in the meantime that'll answer our questions now that I think about it.
yeah. But the thing that has me as a big comic book fan and nerd questioning that is, what is the Guardians' relationship? Like, do the Guardians like? What is the? How do I put this? What is the Guardians' relationship with other aliens what what does the Green Lantern Corps even look like in this universe?
Yeah, and also like, do the Manhunters exist? Do other things that the Guardians have created exist?
Yes. And have do the Guardians this is just a genuine question here is do the Green Lantern Corps in this universe, has it happened where the Green Lantern Corps has to ask Batman's permission to enter Gotham?
Because that's another thing. Does Batman exist at the point of this show?
Probably. I'm gonna guess so, considering he's on Damien.
Yeah, but again, we don't know where in the timeline this show takes place.
Okay, yeah. Here's another thing. And I know, look, I haven't watched Peacemaker yet. Need to. The second season.
I never finished the
But
second season.
but it's just like, how do you expect me to watch these shows or movies if I can't if figure out, okay, the thing that this universe, and I need to say this here, needs to help explain is what has and what hasn't happened. Because we don't have a whole lot of information in this universe.
Yeah, if
We can't
I
really put
were
things
James
together.
Gunn and if I were James Gunn and Peter Safran, or maybe whoever's in charge of the comics, I would collaborate and make tie-in comics to fill us in on the universe before Superman and before other projects.
Right.
Because keep in
Yeah.
mind, we don't know how long Hal Jordan has been Green Lantern in this universe.
That's another good point. For all we know, he could be a Green Lantern for however long Batman's been a thing.
Yeah,
For
and
all we know, he could be the.
yeah, I'll
Go ahead.
save what I was gonna say for a different episode because it's off topic.
But for all we know about this show and its Green Lanterns is we don't. I can't think straight. What I was gonna say is we need to know a lot more about not just the lore and just like how long Hal's been active. You need to fill out. You gotta explain more of the timeline in this universe. But also, the thing that, okay, I'm gonna be real here. The thing that honestly has me concerned is that it's gonna be more of a it's not really gonna explore any other things in this universe. It's just gonna be its own separate bubble, and it's not really gonna explore how everything else is connected because when we saw Superman, it didn't really like set the tone for the universe. It's just like, hey, this is what's going on with this guy.
And
This
I
is what's go.
don't know. I don't know if this universe is gonna have a set tone because every comic character has a different tone. You're not gonna see a bright, colorful Gotham with Batman cracking jokes and being nice because
That would
Batman
be Dick
is
Grayson.
okay. Admittedly, if Dick Grayson was Batman, we'd
Yes.
have Batman cracking jokes, but it's not Dick Grayson, the Brave and the Bold in like what 2027. Bruce, so it's dark, depressing. Okay, maybe Damien's a little bit more than that, but again, off topic.
Yeah. See, because this is just like the thing that honestly has me concerned is we don't know. And I'm going to say this again, but if you expect me, like whether these movies or TV shows perform well, that's another thing entirely. But the thing that you need everybody, like, yes, I get it. Everybody is going to have their own separate tones for their respective things, but you need all the tones to make sense for an entire universe. That's
Yeah,
all I got to say.
and I feel like it also needs to be distinct so we recognize the tone of the character and don't confuse it with another.
And also it's just like, okay, like I'm also gonna give this as an example, is like if you have Superman, the David Cornsweat version, a very light and cheerful dude, but you have Bruce's world being a dark and gritty. How are those two tones gonna mix if those two ever interact?
I mean, I assume they would, just not in the near future, because as far as I know, James Gunn and Peter Safran have no plans for a Justice League.
All right. You got
Which
anything
is
else
why
you
we
want to?
got the Justice Gang. I got nothing else to say.
Okay. Here's the last thing I'm gonna say on the Green Lantern show is, look, don't get me wrong. I'm gonna watch this show, but it's just so I understand, what the tone is. But if this show doesn't how bad of a show, it's kind of bad when you haven't even released your first episode and already the internet is united. That should be a concern.
Against it to be exact.
Yeah, that should be a major, because look, not every, because look,
And you
I
said
get
best, someone's getting fired for this because the trailer was supposed to release today,
today, yeah,
but it got leaked online.
yeah. But the thing that I want to say, this is the last thing I want to say is, look, whatever the tone is for this Lantern TV show, whatever they're building up towards, is that all I gotta ask is you gotta explain, the lore of, don't just throw us, this is seriously what I need to say this. Don't just throw us in to whatever the lore is, to whatever's currently going on with this version of Hal, with this version of John Stewart. Fill in the gaps. Because otherwise we're just gonna be guessing.
Yeah.
That's it.
And with that said, we'll be right back with the results of the Elimination Chamber Prediction Battle.
Yep.
And we are back. If you're seeing our faces, it's because Riverside won't allow me to share my screen.
Because Riverside's being Riverside.
Yeah, but we're back with the
Anyway,
results of the Elimination Chamber Prediction Battle. As a reminder, the punishment was loser has to watch the Netflix original movie Death Note, which deserves to be in a Death Note itself because it's that
anyway, and not important, but anyway.
Yeah, I'm gonna start off with the first match we predicted for the Women's Intercontinental Championship. AJ Lee versus Becky Lynch.
The match was,
But before we get into that, what do you, have you seen Elimination Chamber? What do you think of the event overall?
well, I'm gonna be honest, when I tuned in, I was busy doing something else when when it dawned on me, I was like, oh, right.
I should probably watch that.
Yeah, but okay, I'm gonna be honest, my overall thoughts on Elimination Chamber was, okay. The show was just kind of, It was it was alright,
Yeah.
honestly. There wasn't really anything that I was just kind of like, wow, I'm really getting excited on the road to WrestleMania. Okay, go.
Yeah, if you're new listening to this podcast, you should know that we are very opinionated and we are not afraid to share it.
Yeah. All right. So yeah, the Becky match was, I mean, it wasn't the best match of the night, but it
But it
was,
also wasn't the worst.
no. Who won?
We have a new women's intercontinental champion, and now you share. Okay, so seriously, computer, why you do this to me? All right, so as you can see, hopefully, if I can expand this, there we go. As you can see, these were our choices. AJ Lee won, which means I drew first blood in the podcast. All right, so the second match we predicted was the women's elimination chamber match. Oh, sorry,
Yeah.
the second one we predicted actually was the world heavyweight between Finn Balor and CM Punk. Match was okay, and I got Daniel a point because CM Punk retained. Forgot to put the championship
Yep.
thing there, but you know how it is. All right, women's chamber. Alexa Bliss and Rhea, who apparently CJ Perry, formerly known as Lana, calls the Roman Reigns of the women's division. I'm inclined to agree. Were my choices, and Asuka and Raquel Rodriguez were Daniels, with Tiffany Stratton and Kiana James being the wild card. Rhea won and is facing Jade Cargill at WrestleMania, meaning I get another point. Main event was the Elimination Chamber. I had LA Knight and Randy Orton. Daniel had Logan Paul and Trick Williams, with Javon Evans and Cody Rhodes being the wild card, even though WWE is ignoring the fact he lost a match where he would not get a another title shot as long as Drew McIntyre is champion. I have thoughts about that, and we'll save it for another episode, which was good. Randy Orton ended up winning and will be challenging Drew McIntyre, meaning I get another point, and Daniel issues his prediction battle card. Will have to use his get out of punishment free to not watch Death Note. I will let you know via social media if